Okay, let's get into questions. What kind of doubts can I solve for you today? Let me know in the chat box. Enough of Jaipur. Please share the name of the palace. It's called Raj Mahal. It's a boutique hotel with only 13 rooms. It's right in the heart of Jaipur, but it's a very well kept secret, if I may say so. We didn't even know about this. It's right next to Rambagh. We're moving to Rambagh today. Really nice place. Like Jaipur ki hospitality, Rajasthan ki is kuch aur hi. You know, I feel like that's one of the things that they are very, very good at is the hospitality. So really been enjoying because कमरे सिर्फ 13 है और property इतनी बड़ी है. It literally feels like तुम्हारा अपना palace है. So I really been enjoying that. All right, me Uma Basu is saying, how can we be consistent on something that's really important? You know, the most important thing to understand about consistency is that the current personality does not have the identity of the person you need to be consistent. Let me give you an example, okay? Let's say I want to become consistent at waking up every morning at 6 o'clock. The person I am right now maybe enjoys the binge watching of Netflix from 9 to 11. So no matter how much I keep telling myself that, you know what, I want to wake up in the morning, there's a part of me that does not want to let go of the pleasure of enjoying the Netflix every night. So till the time I don't re-examine my life and say, who is it that I want to be? Okay, the reason I want to wake up every morning is because I want to become more spiritual rather than consumer of Netflix. So if I want to become more spiritual, what kind of person will I be? So let's say I describe that as Sister Pooja. That Sister Pooja wakes up at 6 a.m. Sister Pooja does her mantra mala. Sister Pooja does her gratitude, her meditation, her yoga poses, her everything, whatever Sister Pooja's identity. So now I'm creating this person in my mind, and then every action that I take, whether I'm drinking a cup of coffee or I am doing, speaking to someone, I should speak from this new identity. The more our new identity gets created, the more easier it becomes for us to get consistent with who we want to become. So if we continue to live the life we are living and we keep focusing on who we want to become, it doesn't work. We have to make sure that who we want to become becomes our present self. So you have to create a brand new persona. You know, I remember at one point when I had started to become a life coach, I remember saying, I want to be the kindest person in the room. And I would say, what would Pooja do? What would Mother Teresa do in the same situation? And then I would act and pretend to be Mother Teresa, put that smile on my face, even though from inside I would be boiling. I would want to be shouting, but I'll be speaking in the softest tone. And a time came where this persona that I had created in my imagination started to merge with my real personality. And that's how you build consistency. When you try to build consistency through willpower or through discipline, it's very hard because it doesn't last. You can have willpower 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. By the 4th day, something will happen and you're not able to use your willpower because your willpower will get used off somewhere else. Willpower is a battery charge. Okay, it's like that much battery only your phone has, right? Beyond that, it can't give you. Same is with consistency. If you have that much willpower only and it gets used up in focusing on, let's say your son is sick or something and he's in the hospital and you're using all of your willpower there because you need to be available to him, all of your energy is getting consumed there. You think you're going to have the willpower to come home after the hospitalization and do gymming? Hoga hi nahi. But if you are that person who has become that person who loves that gymming will actually relax you. For my husband, he will have a tough day and go for a walk of 30 minutes because it releases rather than him being lazy. So when you have that new identity, learning to create new identities is one of the most powerful things you're going to land up doing in your life. I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the chat box. Transform with Vinita is asking, please guide how to get over the feeling of envy. Such a beautiful question because you know what? We have looked at envy as if we are bad people when we feel that. And I feel this is so important to understand that envy is a feedback mechanism on something that you desire in life that someone else has. A lot of times we're very confused about what are the things we really want. Envy reveals to us, that okay, let's say I see someone wearing a beautiful sari. Let's say I meet someone who's extremely successful. Let's say I meet someone who's gotten a college degree. I don't have one, right? And I may feel a tinge of envy. Okay, and envy may speak to me negatively. It may make me feel like ये अपने आप को क्या समझती है, or it can convert into a negative judgment, even though deep down it just may be something that I am desiring. But the minute I understand that, I'm only envious of such people. There's a pattern, right? I remember at the first time I met someone very educated, I felt jealous, but I didn't know that the jealousy was coming from that they were so educated. I thought I'm just not liking this person for the judgments I was carrying. But over time I realized every time I meet this category of woman, I get jealous. So once I knew that, then everything changed, because I knew that I get jealous of overly educated women because I myself at that time had low self-esteem and I had no idea how to become the person who I thought I should have been. Got it? So now when I feel envious of someone, I ask myself, what is it I'm really wanting that this person has? Do I have the willingness to pay the price that this person has paid? Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm enjoying someone's beautiful figure. Somebody's really thin and she's wearing something really hot, and I'm feeling envious of her figure. I have to remember that the pav bhaji that I've eaten this morning had to be sacrificed if I want a figure like that. Now, between pav bhaji and the figure, what is it I really want? Do I want the happiness of the pav bhaji, or do I want the compliments of or the health of this beautiful figure? And then you ask yourself these questions, because a lot of times we see something and the other, but we're not willing to put in the hard work they've put in. Majority of the time we want the results, but we don't want the process. We don't want to work through the process. And I think it's such a wise thing to tell yourself sometimes that, if I don't want the process, I have no right to be jealous of the result, because how are you going to work through that? Correct? So I think working through envy, and I don't know whether you were asking me about envy when you are feeling it for others or when others are feeling it for you. Now, if others are feeling envious of you, my suggestion is just one very simple thing. I want you to look up at God, say thank you, and say send me more. You'll be like, what, Pooja, send me more? Can I tell you, as you become more and more successful in your life, jealousy of others is something that comes like a tax that you have to pay because of the success that you're having. So people being jealous of you is but obvious. Whether you do something about it, it doesn't matter how humble you are. The humbleness has nothing to do with someone else feeling jealous, because they are projecting their own reflection of what they are feeling emotionally. They also can't control their jealousy because, like I said, it is an indicator to them on something that you have that they don't have. Anytime you see someone jealous of you, just look up and say, thank you, God. You know the hard work. You know the stuff that you've done to get here. Acknowledge your journey. Acknowledge your hard work. Bless that other person who's jealous of you, that may they too do the same and get what you got. Why not? Nobody is deprived of anything. When somebody sees my marriage, they have no idea how hard I worked on this marriage. When somebody sees my success, they have no idea how hard I worked. But if they are willing to work that hard, they are more than welcome to take all of what I have, because there's more than enough in the world to share. Okay, so now whether it's envy from your side or from the other person's side, start to treat envy more like a feedback mechanism. Jealousy as a feedback mechanism for yourself or others, rather than treating it like, oh my God, I'm not a good person, I feel jealous. Or, sometimes we judge ourselves or we judge others. दोनों तरफ से judgment निकाल के डस्टबिन में डाल दो. Oops, what did I do? Yes. Okay, let me quickly look at the questions. Hi Pooja, my energy levels are drained like anything. I have 2 small kids. What should I do to restore my energy? Get help, get help, get help. Okay, 2 little children can be very exhausting, and you need to come up with a plan around when will mummy help, when will mum-in-law help, when will sister-in-law help, can a maid be kept, can we have part-time help, can I have my husband help me? The thing with young mothers is we don't realize that earlier on there used to be a village to help a woman. Today we are dependent on just one man. Can one man fulfill what a village used to give us? Very difficult, true? So learning to get help, and we normally don't ask for help. We almost think like we are not good mothers if we are not doing everything. Okay? How can you get help? That's the question I want you to ask yourself every day. आज किससे help लूंगी, आज किससे help लूंगी, ठीक है? 2 साल के बाद जब बच्चे प्री स्कूल जाना शुरू हो जाएंगे, at that point you can repay the people who are helping you. But right now you need all the help possible, ठीक है? That oceanaholic. I am in your webinar. You are interacting there as well. Is that a recorded video? Why you did like this? Oh, if you are currently in my webinar, yes, that is a recorded video. Unfortunately, what happens is sometimes I have 2 things happening at the exact same time. When that happens, this can happen. So I'm so apologize to you in advance for seeing me in 2 different places. But yes, that can happen sometimes. Uttara, hi Pooja, this year I attended your coaching mastery and other coaching too. It helped me to get out of my vicious cycle era. I self-published my first book. I'm really happy to share this with you. Massive congratulations, Uttara. Anima Konoi, ma'am, please share how to kickstart from scratch on business, I'm guessing. Wow, that's a big topic, Karima. So for me to tell you the whole kickstart from scratch, one of the few things that I talk about business is the 2-to-1 journey. The first 2 years, you need to put in your money, whether it is in learning or in product or in development or in research. The lot of your money goes into the business. The next 2 years, you recover what you had put in. And then the last 1 year is when you start to make profit. So I want you to start to look at life in that manner where the 2 years, 1 year. It's a 5-year plan. A lot of people go into business thinking, I want to quickly make money. Can I tell you, in business, you can't quickly make money. It takes time to establish yourself. It takes time to understand your marketing strategy. It takes time for the word to spread around how beautiful your product or service is. It takes time. You know, also, the biggest thing that takes time is building trust. Business is a relationship of trust. And if you want to really build trust, you have to consistently deliver the promises that you make at the highest quality possible. Okay? Love it. Preeti Bajaj, nowadays I've been low towards my goals. Now I'm conscious of not going negative, but boosting inner self is again a challenge. Nowadays, I have been low towards my goals. I am conscious of not getting negative, but boosting myself is again a challenge. I totally understand that, and I want you to understand that we women are cyclical. What does that mean? Every week we have a different emotion. Because we have periods, because we have estrogen and progesterone different, our hormones are playing games with us. 1 week before our periods, we can be cranky, we can be PMSing, we can be 1 week after we are fully charged up to achieve the world. Understanding the cyclicalness of our nature is one of the most beautiful gifts we can give to ourselves as women, because then what happens, we allow ourselves the low days, we allow ourselves the motivated days. Rather than thinking what's wrong with me, we start to go with the flow of life. How can we love everyone irrespective of their behavior and who they are as a person? The more you think of people as souls created by God, the more easier it becomes to not judge people, because then you realize God needed all kinds of people on earth. See, God made animals and he said, okay, this animal is going to be this type, this animal is going to be this type, this animal is going to be this type. Let me make one creature where there is no type. They decide what type they want to be. So a lion has to be non-vegetarian, a deer has to be vegetarian. That's how God made it. But then he said, you know what? A human being can be vegetarian, pescatarian, vegan, non-vegetarian, carnivorous, whatever it chooses to be. They will be able to make all of their decisions, where they want to live, how they want to live, what they want to be, what they want to do in their life. I'm going to allow them all of their decisions. Such an empowering place to be in to be a human being, right? So when we judge other people, we start to say in our head, my way of being is better than their way of being. Okay? Unfair, because God said there is no better or worse. There is only options. You can choose this option also, you can choose that option also. And it is better or worse according to who? Let's say I live in a desert, okay, and there is no agriculture there is no water there, and I have to eat animals to survive. Then the best thing for me to do is to eat animals, right? Now, if I'm born in Punjab, right, and there are 5 beautiful rivers, and there's agriculture, and there's lush green fields, and there's food everywhere, for me to then promote vegetarianism and for me to then promote eating vegetables is very easy, right? So we as people look at our own personal experiences and try to thopify the right thing onto other people, that the right thing to do, but their experiences are not our experiences. And because our experiences are not the same, God did not create us to be the same. He wanted each human being to be an individual. So when we start to judge other people, we don't know what they've gone through in their back history. We don't know what they've gone through in the so many lives that they may have lived and the experiences they may have had. So I find it easiest to not judge when I tell myself, in judging other people, I am judging my creator. Because in judging his creation, I am judging creator, and who the hell do I think I am that I know better than God? If God is okay with this person cheating, if God is okay with this person eating, if God is okay with this person being this way, who the hell am I to decide that how someone else should be? Yes, if they ever choose to improve themselves, please come to me. I'd love to help you with whatever you need help. And improve also is something you decide. Nobody else can decide for you. So if you feel like you want help and you want to improve yourself, why not? Right? Love it. Gayatri, me and my hubby are handling 2 kids and creating a family all on our own with no inheritance from in-laws or help from them as they are very old. Seeing a woman getting full support from in-laws or staying at home. I don't know what the question is, Gayatri, here, but I'm guessing that the fact that you have no inheritance and you have aging in-laws, you're having to create your life from scratch. You know what, Gayatri, in my opinion, a lot of times it's the difficulties of our life that lead us to the best space of our life. What do I mean by that? There are a lot of people born with the golden spoon, and the reason that they don't become anything in their life is because of the golden spoon. There is nothing to motivate them to want or aspire for more. And so I feel like a lot of stories of success come from actually being a nobody to becoming a somebody. Okay, very few success stories come from somebody becoming a somebody. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So I don't know what you are going through right now. What I do know is that all of my challenges is what has turned me into becoming who I am. Because I didn't get an education, because I was deprived, because I was kept that just be a housewife, be happy with no respect, with no dignity, with nobody wanting my opinion. All of that led me to want to become the person I became. So see how you can use this whole situation to become the person you want to become. Oh, how to deal with retroactive jealousy. I don't know what that means. What is retroactive? You'll have to explain that to me. I am going to be seeing a lot of you next week. Yes, please keep yourself free 7th and 8th of December for the Coaching Mastery program that I will be doing from morning 9:30 to evening 6 for 2 full days. If you haven't yet signed up, I'm going to ask my team to put the link below. Just put P2P or just put P2P underneath, and we will invite you so that you can come and join the 7th and 8th of December. Otherwise, just write to us directly interested in the 7th and 8th of December for the Coaching Mastery program, and we'd love to have you there. 2 full days, just you and me. When I say just you and me, it'll be just you and me and many of you and me, but you and me in terms of understanding, learning, interacting, and it's going to be very, very powerful. Sriya, hi Pooja, how to find what is special in me without ego or pride, how to have a healthy self-esteem. You know, one of the things I say about ego and pride is when you love who you are, that's high self-esteem. When you think you're better than everyone else, that is when you start to feel that's when your ego and pride comes in. So saying I am really good at this is you being in high self-esteem. I'm really good at helping others. I'm really good at running my business. I'm really good at self-esteem. That I'm better than you. That I need to put someone down for me to feel better. That's ego and pride. So any form of comparison puts you in ego and pride. Any form of ownership of your own talents is high self-esteem. Bhairavi, ma'am, please help me on how to deal with toxic people. That too, staying together. Please help, ma'am. Bhairavi, there are 3 ways you handle toxic people. One is you can choose to ignore them. Their toxicity needs to stop impacting you. So what you can do is you can literally create a white fountain around yourself of water, of white light, of whatever you'd like to use, and start to protect your energy from their energy. Okay, so ignore is one of the ways if you can develop that style. Another way is to be focused on your mission, on where you are headed. When we are busy looking at the front view mirror of our car, we have no time to look at the back view mirror, right? But some of us are walking backwards while looking at the people who are behind us, but we are walking backwards. So I'd love for you to make a list of, let's say there are 3 massive goals you want to achieve in 2025. I want to become super healthy, I want to become super successful, and I want to have a great marriage. Let's say these are your goals. Get so focused on these 3 goals that the toxic people stop mattering. Okay? At the end of the day, our job is to take our power back. The more we get affected by them, the more powerful they become. The more we learn to live our own life, the less powerful they become, right? So you want to start to look at how am I giving them so much power? Why are they so important? What they think of me is none of my business. That's their problem. I know I am doing something that I am right in my own head. If you are right in your own head, I want you to start to ignore such people. You have to cut the cord of allowing them that energy or that power. Why do they have power? Because somewhere deep down you don't want to disappoint them. What they think of you matters to you still. Can I tell you the best weight you can get off your shoulders is when you start to say, what they think of me doesn't matter anymore. Their opinion of me doesn't matter anymore. I am willing to disappoint them for a period of time so that I can come back to amaze them with my success. When we start to follow that, it becomes completely different. And these toxic people, what can they do? At the end of the day, they are talkers. And can I tell you, I'd rather have the critical people sitting by in the bystanding lines than have them in the battleground, because I am busy fighting the battle. Where do I have time for the criticism who are people who are not interested in fighting the battle, but just sitting and talking about or discussing people like me who are actually doing the real work? So when you start to believe you are doing the real work, when you start to believe you are doing your duty, when you start to believe that you are, then these toxic people will stop mattering. These toxic people are only mattering to you because you currently are more focused on them rather than on where you are headed. How to realign myself when things are haywire, doing 1,001 things. Bhargavi, one of the easiest ways to realign yourself is to start to look at life as a marathon rather than a sprint. When we start to follow the sprint, we get exhausted. When we start to go, you know what? Every day I will do 3 things that matter and move the 25 things to the next page. And then I will not follow my things to do, but I will rather have things to be. And the things to be are, I'm going to remain peaceful, I'm going to remain happy, and I'm going to remain, let's say, joyous or, in alignment. And what are the things I can do today, and what are the things I can move for tomorrow? Some of us have started to believe in the rat race of life, that if you don't achieve certain things by a certain age, you're too late or it won't work for you. Not true. Can I tell you, the woman works best when she does it at her own divine speed. So create your own divine speed and allow some people to go in front. Maybe some people half as talented as you will land up becoming doubly successful than you for a short period of time, till one day you will arrive, and you will arrive so wonderfully that you will have nothing to worry, because the only person you were comparing yourself to was the person that you were yesterday. I want you to stop comparing yourself to everyone else and start to go, you know what? If I'm not happy every single day, everything that I'm achieving is actually a waste. So every single day, realign yourself to your joy, to your peace, to your happiness. You'll start to feel it from within. I will not even do this Insta live if I'm not happy or peaceful. The reason it's become from Wednesday to Saturday this time is because, and I had to do that even though I have a live webinar going on, I had to do this because I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to start to do things when I'm feeling joyous about it. Tuesday night was the wedding. Tuesday night, because the wedding was there, I was not interested in waking up on Wednesday and doing this because I know I wouldn't be peaceful or joyous. While today morning when I woke up, I was like, Puneet, I really feel like doing an Insta live. It's such a beautiful property. I have to show it to my tribe. Can you see the energy? Now, either I can make myself guilty that in 2 years, I have never missed an Insta live on Wednesday. How can I do that? How can I postpone it? What if people... I can do all of that torturing that we do to ourselves. Or I can just enjoy and say, you know what? So what if I didn't do it on Wednesday? I'll do it on Saturday. So once you start to flow with life, because life also keeps happening to us, no? And when you start to create that flow in life, it is so much more beautiful from within. You know, your soul feels rested. Otherwise, we women are getting fatigued. We are getting exhausted. We are getting irritated. We are getting angry. We are becoming nagging, and we don't know why we are having these reactions. Aparna, how can I be more graceful? Please answer me. You know what, Aparna, I love it that you're asking me this question because it's something that I consciously worked upon about 10 years ago. So I have a very bubbly, high energy personality. Graceful was not one of the words I've ever used on myself. So now that you're asking me this question, I feel like one of the things I landed up doing was slowing myself down to be present with life. Let me explain this to you. I can pick up this cup and go, that's one way of drinking this coffee, right? Another way of drinking this coffee is enjoying the smell of this coffee, loving the color of the coffee, truly tasting the coffee. What am I doing? I'm getting present with the coffee. The more present you are with life, the more grace enters your energy. It's so much easier to be graceful when you slow yourself down. Rush is the opposite of being graceful. You'll be like, what? No, opposite of being graceful is being, silly or no. Opposite of graceful is actually rushing. People who are rushing have no idea, did they open the door, did they brush their teeth, did they do the thing? They are always thinking, मैंने चाबी कहाँ छोड़ी, मैंने ये क्या किया, मैंने वो क्या किया, because they are rushing through life. You want to become graceful, just slow down. Breathe a lot more. Notice your breaths. One of the easiest ways to get graceful is to notice and observe your breaths. You will see, I'm a very fast talker. So every 10 minutes, I'll just reconnect with my breath and I'll slow down. And that slowing down immediately aligns me with what I need to achieve. And when grace enters your life, the truth is luck enters your life. So use all of your 5 senses. The more you can use your 5 senses, notice the weather, notice the sun falling on your skin, notice the smells, notice the visuals that are around you, notice and observe. Observers slow down automatically. We are going through life without observing. Yesterday I was just walking around this whole property and every room has wallpapers and matching chandeliers and oh my god, like it is what do you call that? It's like sensuality on steroids because it's just so much to look at. And everything, yes, my friend was showing me that in her room, from the wallpaper to the curtains to the cushions to everything was matching to a level, matching but not matching, like mismatched matching. And it was just so gorgeous to observe that she was observing all of that, that we were together enjoying the aesthetics. Really made me feel happy. Hi ma'am, Aman Singh this side. Good morning. I met you in the Women's Conclave Indore. Hi Aman. You always motivate us. Thank you so much. God bless you. Hi Pooja ma'am, you had attended some workshop by Mingyu Riponche. Can you please tell me more about it? Of course, he is amazing. He's one of the happiest people on the planet. I think Harvard or MIT has done a full study on his brain. He was the longest meditating monk in the world, supposedly. And we went to Nepal. We were there for 4 days at his monastery, and what a man and what energy, and just being around such people, your energy transforms. So he doesn't even have to speak a lot. You just surround yourself with such high vibrational people and you will see a complete shift in your energy. And one of the things I think he really made easy for me when I studied under him was the fact that do not judge your meditation. Like, do your meditation, and there will be days when you'll be irritated and angry and upset, and all of that will come out, and you'll feel like you weren't able to meditate, or there will be days when you'll go deep in your trance. Either which ways, just continue to soften or slow down the neural pathways that are going from thought to thought to thought. We are having almost 60,000 thoughts per day. If you can bring them down to 55,000, if you can bring them down to 50,000, every thought consumes energy. We save energy when we slow down our thought. One of the easiest ways to slow down our thought is to slow down our heart rate. Heart rate and thoughts both are connected to breath. Do a lot of breath work, do a lot of meditation. That's basically what his message to all of us was, and what an amazing man. Oh, you're writing P2P here. No. You need to write P2P once I post this video so that the link comes into your DM, okay? Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, let me go right to the bottom. Today I'm going to run a little early because I have everyone waiting for me for breakfast. Also, I have to get ready and go to the other hotel where the wedding is. Swati, no words to show you my gratitude, my goddess Pooja. Love you, Swati, so lovely. Let's take one more question and then I'm going to run, okay? Ma'am, thank you so much for life-saving words. I feel soul connected when in your sessions. Gratitude and love you. Love you, sweetheart. Nice. For all of you who are interested in joining the course, all you need to do is put P2P in the video below, under this in the comment section once I post it, okay? You will get the link. It's my birthday today and I've manifested your live on a Saturday. Happy birthday, gifted bird. How to overcome the fear of losing someone because you start choosing self-respect over relationship. How to overcome losing someone because you start choosing self-respect over relationship. X_Bal, you already lost them when they chose to not value you enough. You are thinking you're going to lose them now. The truth is you lost them when there were some things that they did that itself should have scared them, like the way it's scaring you to lose someone. So when you lose someone, you're not actually losing them when you think you're losing them. You lost them long time ago. I'll give you an example. Let's say someone cheated me. Okay, in my friendship, my friend has cheated me. When exactly did I lose her? Did I lose her when I chose to stand up for myself, or did I lose her the day she cheated me? Okay, I want you to understand the moment has already crossed when you lost someone. Now it is how long do you want to stay in the bridge of pretense. Okay, there's a whole concept called bridge of pretense. What is the bridge of pretense? Where we start to believe that if I react differently, I'll be able to salvage or save this relationship. The truth is, someone else has already not valued you. Now, how long do you want to keep getting hurt before you realize that they don't value you? So you lost them not when you decided to choose your self-respect. You lost them the day they chose against you. When someone betrays you, whether they betray you in a marriage, or they betray you in a relationship, or they betray you through money, or they betray you through the words that they chose to spoke with other friends, when someone betrayed you, that's the moment they lost you. So the moment was actually the day you found out. Now, sometimes we are not really ready to lose someone because they play such an important role. So if you want to take your time to make that decision so that you can absorb in the shock of realizing that somebody that you gave your everything to, your love, your trust, your everything to, has betrayed you, and sometimes that takes time. Therefore, the bridge of pretense is a great space to sit on, stand on, be in, till you can re-register that this relationship is over. And you know what? The hardest thing to accept sometimes is that the relationship is over. Now you can do either, you can confront this person and find out what happened, if that conversation is possible. If it is something that is unignorable, that's something that is non-negotiable, then you have to remove this person from your life. So confronting is a possibility, removing is a possibility, quietly stepping back, to realize that all this while, the beauty of the brain is that the minute you know something, now you can't not know it. So you can literally start to see that there were red flags from the very beginning, but you had chosen to ignore them because you thought of them like the way you think of yourself, where you gave them the benefit of doubt because you're a good person, you thought they will also be. But you know what? The world is not made up of people like you. The world is made up of lots of different varieties of people, and people have different value systems. And people with one set of value systems do not have the capability of understanding another set of value systems, because you're like, how? Because your brain processing system is Chinese, while theirs is Japanese, while someone else's is some other language. So when there's so much of language contradiction, how do you cope with understanding a person like that? And when we can't understand people, we can't trust those people, because we don't know how their unpredictability will impact or make us feel unsafe in our life. Okay, so for all of you in this room who are currently in a relationship which is not working out, I want you to know you are sitting in the bridge of pretense, which is you're giving them too much benefit of doubt. Sometimes accepting the truth is one of the hardest things to do, but the day you accept it, you can literally then fill your life up with much better people, rather than the ones that you have gotten stuck with, or the ones who gave you a lot for those years that they were there, but they've changed. And at which point they changed, you didn't even come to know. Oh, so nice. Wednesdays live I always miss because of being a working day, so manifested today's session. You know what? I honestly did not even know today's Saturday. I haven't even checked my calendar. When I arrived in the hotel, I was like, Puneet, you know what? I missed my Insta live this Wednesday. I'm feeling so bad for everybody. I'm going to just do it tomorrow. And I didn't even check what day it is. So I'm so happy that so many of you working women are able to attend today's session. Oh, lovely. Some of you are coming for Change Makers on 8th of February 2025. Can't wait to see you there. Ma'am, I'm not able to forget my ex. It's been more than a year, but every day I stick him and I cry. Please save me. You know, I wish there was a way that we would have been taught to love ourselves more than the people that have hurt us. At which point did we decide that someone who's hurt us is better and we want to be with them rather than choosing ourselves over them? So this is for everyone in this room who's listening. Love people till they reveal themselves to you. And the day they reveal themselves to you, it is your duty. I was watching a Matthew Hussey video where he said, I wanted to imagine that when you were born, God gave your soul a human. Okay, and he said, this human is for you to look after. Your number one priority is towards this human. And then the soul enters the baby, and then our job is to look after the body and mind and energy of this person as the soul. Okay, now your number one job is to prioritize yourself. Prioritize, even if this ex comes back into your life, the way he has damaged you and the way he will damage you. If someone doesn't value you, love them from a distance. You keep bringing them back in your life, you will keep increasing the drama of your life. Now God wants us to learn to love ourselves. Okay, one of the biggest lessons we are born to learn is to learn to prioritize and love ourselves. So in a world that thrives on community, we have forgotten that the number one responsibility we have is to be our own best friend, to make ourselves important. But you know what? The world has taught us otherwise, which is why we think that this person can make me happier than what I can make myself happier. Wrong. So from today onwards, your job is to learn to make yourself happy. And can I tell you, the day you learn to make yourself happy, you will not remain desperate. The day you don't remain desperate, a person will come into your life who, like you, knows how to keep himself happy. And when two happy people meet, there is a happy relationship. When desperate people meet, they keep looking at each other to fulfill each other's needs, and that's what creates a lot of issues in relationships. Majority, I would say almost 80% of all issues in relationships is because we are looking at the other to complete us. If we are already complete, then we actually end up complementing each other. Okay, it's 10:46. I'm going to run. Like I said, today I am going to be doing a shorter Insta live just because I have to go eat my breakfast. I have to go check out. I have to get ready for the shadi. So it's just a lot of things happening. But I'm so glad we could connect. Thank you so much for coming. Let's quickly do a picture. Wait, let me stand up for you. Let me see if I can get this room. Such a beautiful, gorgeous room. All right, yeah, let's do it. Oh, I can't complete the heart because I'm holding. I'll just should I pose for you all? Thank you everybody for coming. Loads and loads of love. We'll keep posting pictures. Keep in touch. Keep writing into me. If there's any doubt or questions that I couldn't answer today, we will keep it for another day. But do send it to me on Insta, DM. I would love to directly answer all of your questions. I'm always here for you. For those of you who are going to land up joining 7th and 8th of December, already looking forward to hug you and be there for you and give you all of the knowledge that I have around the business of coaching. Remember, you have to post P2P underneath this video once I post it so that you can get the direct link to my webinar. Love you all. Thank you so much. Bye. Ciao. Tata.